Hey, and welcome to another episode. Do you really think that Meghan Markle was going to win against the royal family with this absolutely fraudulent bullshit about these children? Do you really think that the royal family is not pushing them to expose it with evidence that is out there ready to be put out? If you go back a few years, Meghan Markle was meant to be pregnant prior to their wedding, and that's why it was rush, rush, quick, quick, let's get married. Then apparently she had a miscarriage the day before. Yeah, sure, bullshit. Then of course there was the miscarriage in between Archie and Lily when she, grabbed her stomach, fell to the floor because she felt she was losing a baby, etc., blah, 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 and Harry buried that fetus underneath a tree. That is also bullshit. Did you notice that the media did not take those stories and run with it? They left it alone. They shut up about it. They will not print stories about the children. Why? Because Harry went and sued a few media outlets in the UK and blamed the UK media about bullshit stories and set an example of them that he was going to litigate. How much money do you think Harry and Meghan have got to litigate all the time when they're losing every single time? He has to pay for his court costs this time and their court costs. Millions of dollars don't last long when you're not budgeting correctly and when you haven't got any money coming in. That's correct. You have to do a budget. Whether you're rich or poor, you have to have a budget and you have to have income coming in. Vanity Fair is turned against them. Do you not think for 1 minute that there's whispers behind the scenes that there's evidence out there and people are really getting egg on their face for sticking up for these two absolute morons that thought they were going to fool the world? If you go to the royal website very, very soon and all of a sudden those children are not in the line of succession without a word spoken, we know why. Meghan's hanging on to write her tell-all book of her big career in the royal family, that whole 18 months. 9 of them, apparently, she was pregnant. You cannot tell me that Meghan that put it out there to the world that she was going to murder her unborn child, that the palace didn't do anything about that. She was offered help. She was offered everything. She was also offered a personal dresser from the Queen's staff. She didn't want that. Why is that? Because she may have had to be semi-naked for 4 dress fittings. I mean, it's a bit hard to hide a baby bump strapped on if you are semi-naked. Why did she, when she was over here in Australia, she wanted the whole place to stay in? She didn't want just the wing that the Queen stayed in. You do realise that in hotels and places that royals stay in, their staff go in and clean the room, take their breakfast in, etc., etc. People see things. Would they be under an NDA? Of course they would be. But if they had reason to speak, and if they had reason to give evidence and to make a pretty penny, do you think they would do it? Of course they would do it. Do you also think for 1 minute that the palace is not pushing them behind the scenes? Meghan wants this tell-all book to tell her side of the story. How she will put it. Let me be the first to say that how she's going to put it, my thoughts and opinions. Oh, they made me wear, I was so hated in the UK and everywhere I went because everyone was racist against me, so I had to wear these bumps that were bulletproof and stab proof for the safety of my child. But yet she told everyone that she was willing to murder her unborn child, because that's exactly what she would have done. It would have been called murder. Actually, it would have been called murder with the S, because if she unalived herself, then she was also taking that child with her. If she was that mentally disturbed, like I said before, you didn't see an ambulance rock up at Buckingham Palace and her whisked away to get help. Because if someone is having a mental health episode like that, you do anything in your power to help them. But oh no, Harry didn't. Why didn't Harry? Because there was no baby. Why didn't he help his wife? If he really thought she was going to unalive herself, why didn't he help her? With everything he tells us about mental health, with everything he says that he's been to psychologists since his mother's passing, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. They're backed into a corner. The US tabloids are now cotton on to their bullshittery and are getting very brave in printing it. Like I said, don't you think all these media outlets have whispers behind the scenes that this is going to come out? And of course, Meghan's going to say that, the royal family made her use a surrogate because they didn't want a black child in the royal family. You see, her planting the racism was for this. That's my opinion. Because she's going to use the racism, she's going to drive that so hard when this comes out for sympathy. That the royal family did not want a black grandchild. Meghan's not black. She's not visibly black. So how did she possibly think her child was going to be black? I mean, come on. Really? Really? She knew all along she couldn't have children because, like I said, her baby making basket's been removed. Harry goes on and on about he wants to break the generational curse of, his upbringing, that just because it happened to you, you don't have to do it to your children, and you've got to make things better for your children. Each generation has to make things better for their children, so you just get better and better. Why has he never, ever, in any interview, have said the rumours about my children are untrue? Here's the proof. He's never done it. Not once. He can talk about them, the rumours about them being divorced 100 times and the rumours about him and her moving 12 times, etc. But when asked about their children, they always look away in interviews. They always make it very brief. Lily has found her voice. Well, she's 3 years old. If she's not doing any goo-goo gaga-ing by now, she needs a speech therapist. But oh no, we can't do that because she's not allowed to leave her locked up bedroom. This is very disturbing. He goes on, we survived on my mother's inheritance money. Well, essentially that money was part of the divorce settlement for Charles and Diana, which essentially came for the Queen, which essentially comes really, a good chunk of it comes from the British royal people. So not only have the UK supported this pompous little prick, he has turned around and spat on his country, spat on the people of the UK, and literally has given them the middle finger by this disgusting deceit that they both have carried on with these children. It's fraud. It's deceit. He says he loved his grandmother so much. He loved her so much he sat there while his wife disrespected her in the most disgusting way. That's how much he loved his grandmother. You know, the way these two love people, you would really not want to be hated by them because they are despicable. I don't care. Every single time I have an opportunity, I will keep pushing the fact that they need to come clean. You know I love the royal family, but what would have taken the king to put out a short statement saying, we are very concerned about the LA fires, our hearts go out with you, etc., etc. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. My son and Meghan did visit the fires. We've been informed that they've visited the fires. That is very wonderful of them being Californian citizens. That would have shut everyone up. They're not there on behalf of the royal family, but they're out there making clowns with the royal family because, like I say, with nearly 8.5 billion people in the world, they don't know that they're not there representing the royal family. As far as people know, that's the king's son and Diana's son, the late Princess Diana's son. So they don't know if they're there or not on behalf of the royal family. They're making the royal family, the most prestigious royal family in the world, look like fools. It's disgusting. They're getting backed and backed and backed into a corner that they have to come out and tell the truth now. Is that going to be the next tell-all, where they blame everything on the royal family of how Archie and Lilibet had to be born of surrogacy because they didn't want a black child in the family? Really? Those children are not Meghan's. Meghan's did not give birth to them. They should not be in the line of succession. Harry nor Meghan have ever said anything different. They have not addressed these rumours, conspiracy theories, whatever you want to call them. They've never once touched it. Like I said, I have written to King Charles many a time, and I have got responses from him. Maybe it's a general letter that he responds to everybody. Who knows? Gonna keep driving it home. Like, why haven't they sued anyone? Why haven't they sued anyone about this? Why are they allowing for people to cast doubt over their children? The children they're meant to love and care for. He went through it himself. People talking about who his father was. He knows the pain of that. So why is he contradicting himself when he's doing the exact same thing to his children that was done to him? But yet he goes on interviews and says he needs to break the generational curse and do better for his children. He ain't doing better. He's doing extremely worse. When his mother died, the Queen went and scooped up those boys and took them away for a week or 10 days, whatever it was, to get them out of the public eye, to shield them, to get them to try and digest what had just happened. The Queen didn't know what to do. King Charles didn't know what to do. They never thought they were going to be in that position. But she scooped those boys up and tried to protect them while the whole of the UK, the Commonwealth and the world wanted the Queen to say something. If you recall back in that day, when everyone was against the Queen saying, why isn't she saying anything? Why isn't she saying anything? Why isn't she giving a statement? She was hammered in the press. But she was being a grandmother. She was being a grandmother. With love and empathy, she scooped those boys up to protect them. And this pompous little prick disrespected her so much that she went to her grave with a broken heart, knowing that her grandson is a traitor. That will never be forgiven. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.